was being held by Oliver as we walked out of the private room, and we happened to run into Rupert Houghton and his date for the day. The girl had a curvaceous figure and wavy hair. Then Rupert and I made eye contact. He was stunned for a moment, his gaze slid from my face to my shoulder, and then fixed on Oliver's hand holding me. He looked at me again, his expression somewhat dark. "What are you doing here?" "Just having fun." I provocatively lifted Oliver's chin. "You go ahead with your business, I'm leaving." Oliver led me away, passing by Rupert. "Georgia Sawyer, go home." I chuckled softly without responding. After leaving the club, Oliver couldn't help but ask me, "Sis, who was that man?" "My husband." Oliver looked shocked. "I've seen that man before, the women around him are always different. Anyway, he's already betrayed you, why don't you take me home?" He bent slightly. Even in the dim light, his eyes were astonishingly bright. I lightly tapped his forehead. "Stop joking around, you should get back to school." After sending off the clingy Oliver, it was already 2 a.m. by the time I got home. The lights in the living room were on. Rupert was sitting on the sofa, his shirt half open, holding a glass of wine. I didn't pay attention to him and poured myself a glass of water. Rupert took a few strides over, snatching the water glass from my hand. Water spilled out, splashing all over my feet. "Why are you coming back so late?" I looked down at my feet, then turned to open the fridge. Bang! Rupert slammed the fridge door shut. "Georgia, I'm talking to you." I looked up, pointed at my throat with a calm expression. "My throat is dry, can I have some water first?" He stood there silently, confronting me. I directly took the water from his hand and drank it all in one gulp. "I'm tired, let's talk tomorrow." Rupert suddenly grabbed my wrist. He held on so tightly it hurt. "Georgia, have you had enough of this?" "What have I done?" "I checked your spending records. You're doing just fine. In less than a month, you've become a gold VIP at Golden Glory Club, just 40,000 short of diamond VIP. Fine, next time you and your friends go there, you can use my name for a discount." "Georgia Sawyer." Rupert growled. My indifferent attitude made him furious. "Do you have to act like this to spite me?" I shook off his hand and moved my wrist. "You're overthinking it. Are you saying this has nothing to do with what happened a month ago?" "A month ago?" I couldn't help but recall. That day was my first time at Golden Glory Club. As soon as I entered the lobby, I ran into Rupert's friend who was picking a DJ. "Georgia? What brings you here?" "Looking for Rupert? He's in room 8012. You go ahead, I'll wrap things up here." Actually, I wasn't there to find Rupert. But a few hours earlier, Rupert had video called me, saying he had to work late. He said on the call, "Go to sleep first, don't wait for me." I might be very late. But the person who said he had to work late was now at the club. It's hard not to be suspicious. So I went up to the 3rd floor and pushed open the door to room 8012. Under the flashing lights, a group of people were dancing with bottles in hand. My eyes scanned the room, seeing many familiar faces. The most eye-catching was the high platform in the center. A man and a woman stood closely together. The girl wore a camisole and hot pants, showing off her slim waist, with her hands around Rupert's neck. Rupert's hands lazily circled the girl. His shirt buttons were undone, revealing his abs whenever he moved slightly. Then the girl stood on tiptoe, slowly and tentatively moving her lips towards him. Rupert didn't dodge, but slightly raised his chin. The next second, the girl kissed his Adam's apple. Cheers and applause erupted around them. Rupert smiled. His gaze swept over the room and finally landed on me. He squinted his eyes slightly, hesitating for 2 seconds. Until I raised my hand to switch the lights and turn off the music. The room fell silent. "Rupert Houghton, can you tell me what you're doing?" The girl clearly sensed the strange atmosphere and tried to pull away from Rupert. But Rupert chuckled and pulled her tighter. "Just having fun, don't take it so seriously." I nodded, my eyes dark, but my lips slightly curved. I gave him a thumbs up. "You're doing great." Then I turned and left. I left at 10. Rupert came back at 10. The next day at 10. I waited for him all night, but he acted as if nothing had happened, changing his shoes and preparing to take a shower. I couldn't hold it in. "Rupert, don't you have anything to say to me?" "Say what?" He looked back at me, expressionless, even a bit fierce. I told you, we were just having fun. Don't make a fuss over nothing. Just having fun? Hugging another woman, letting her kiss your Adam's apple, and you say I'm making a fuss? So, what do you want? His indifference made my chest tighten, my temples throb. Seeing I didn't respond, he tried to leave again. I grabbed him. Rupert, are you done? He shook off my hand, took the marriage certificate from the safe, and threw it in front of me. Stay if you can, leave if you can't. He advised me, sis, while you're young, go out and see the world. Don't be like a woman with bound feet. I'm someone who takes advice, so I went to Golden Glory Club and hired 10 male models. They surrounded me, with the ones with good voices singing, the ones with good moves dancing, the sweet-talking ones telling jokes, and the good-looking ones drinking with me. They called me sis, and it sounded much better than when Rupert called me that. I must say, it was quite fun. But to say I was doing it to spite him, not really. Sweetheart, I'm not one of your little friends who does impulsive things. Georgia Sawyer. Rupert's voice rose. I rubbed my temples. If you have something to say, just say it quickly. I'm really tired. Rupert took a deep breath. Just have fun if you must, but don't go too far. I checked, you always ask for that guy named Oliver when you go there. Do you know him? Do you know who he is? The people there, what are their intentions? Are you done yet? I interrupted him, my face full of impatience. Why do you have so many issues? Can't handle it? Then divorce. Rupert was stunned. What did you say? Divorce. I looked at my wristwatch expressionlessly. The cooling-off period for divorce is only 6 days left. You don't need to nag me so much, just get the certificate directly when the time comes. A month ago. To be precise, 24 days ago, after Rupert threw the marriage certificate in front of me, we drove straight to the Civil Affairs Bureau. There, we took a number, queued up, waited, and confirmed. The whole process took less than 2 hours. At that time, we were both fuming. But as of today, I am really ready to divorce. However, Rupert seems to have forgotten about this. You want a divorce? I laughed. Sweetheart, what makes you think that after you've been ambiguous with others, I would still clean you up and take you back? Don't you think I find it dirty? Rupert's face darkened. Nothing happened between me and them. I told you, we were just having fun. I know my limits and won't cross the line. What line? I clapped my hands. As long as it's not like this? A French kiss in the hallway, flirting with girl in the bathroom, almost having sex in the car. Sweetheart, you really trust your hormones too much. Rupert was silent. He clenched his hands tightly and gritted his teeth. You followed me? You're overthinking it. Those girls, you don't have to be responsible for them. Do you think they will be responsible for you? Fling relationships, they can say whatever they want to say. Rupert was slightly stunned. It was just that once, they put something in the drink to make it more exciting. I waved my hand to interrupt him. That's not important. At most, I feel a little sympathy for you. But the marriage, it must end. Do you have to be like this? I shrugged. Georgia, times have changed. Nowadays, if you go out and look, who is completely clean? Water that is too clear has no fish. You can't always use your outdated ideas to handle things. All right, I will try to reduce socializing in the future. You don't need to be so extreme. I sighed. Why do you have to take it to such heights? Sweetheart, do you really think that these 4 years I'm older than you just mean I've eaten more salt than you've eaten crap? What do you guys play now? Drinking, singing, clubbing, promiscuity? Except for the last one, I've played all the others before. When I was dancing closely with men, you were still asking your parents for money. Those little tricks, I see right through them. So, sweetheart, the PUA tactics, you need to use them on someone inexperienced and naive. They don't work on me. Rupert seemed to have forgotten. Back then, it was him who looked at me with teary eyes, telling me he felt insecure and asking me not to go out with others. How old was he then? 20. My friend and he were at the same university. He was a sophomore, and my friend was a second-year graduate student. I went to visit her, and she dragged me to watch a basketball game. Rupert was the star player of the team. He was sunny, handsome, and skilled at the game. All those cheering girls were rooting for him. But honestly, I found it all quite dull. At that time, I had been struggling in society for 2 years and was pretty much detached from desires. Facing those university students, I felt like I was looking at juniors. I felt no ripples at all. So, when Rupert ran towards me, grinning widely and asked, "Sis, can I have your contact info?" I shook my head, smiling kindly. "Little boy, no, you can't." Back then, I was still into gaming and often hired a gaming companion. He was great, skillful, and considerate, always protecting me well. He would also listen to me vent late at night. I would curse at the idiots at work, the fools in life. At those times, I didn't need anyone to console or advise me. I just needed to vent, and having someone listen was enough. And that gaming companion was the best listener. It wasn't until half a year later, when I met Rupert again, that I found out that the gaming companion was him. He said he had seen me on his first day of school and fell in love at first sight, searching for me for a long time. He scoured the campus website, flipped through forums. He found a video of me participating in a campus debate contest during my sophomore year. Through the video, he found out my major. He went to the department, pleaded with the teachers, and finally learned my name. Without any contact info, he kept searching. The gaming account was the only thing he found. He played games with me for a year and a half. Finally, he had the courage to appear in front of me. It was quite difficult. But when a boy presents his entire heart to you, it's hard to refuse. So I followed my heart and got together with him. It's been 8 years now. He was very good. Boys, their first love in life, their true love in life, they excel at dedicating all their passion and enthusiasm. It's scorching. But even water, if kept at boiling point, will eventually evaporate. When did Rupert start cooling down? I don't quite remember. But I do remember about 2 years ago, when I suggested we attend a class reunion together, he refused. They're too rowdy. After dinner, there's always another event. You can't keep up with them, let's forget it. Right, 2 years ago, I turned 30. One day, Rupert joked. Strange, as soon as you turn 30, it feels like there's a 10-year age gap between us. Then he started avoiding mentioning my age. That time when we moved, he called over many of his friends. After we were done, we had hot pot together. Someone teased Rupert, "I've been calling you Rupert bro all this time, only to find out you're 2 years younger than me." I've been at a loss. Speaking of which, I should be the oldest here. I opened my mouth, wanting to say, actually, I am the oldest. But Rupert interrupted. "All right, enough with the nonsense, let's drink." They toasted each other. I looked at Rupert. I could only see his profile. Sharp lines, flawless skin. It's really strange. Men don't need to do anything, and their faces stay clean. Women apply all sorts of products, yet still get pimples and wrinkles. Of course, that's not what I wanted to see. I wanted to see his gaze. But for the rest of the night, he didn't look at me once. I asked him, "Do you mind my age?" He replied impatiently, "That guy isn't even close to us." Do we need to explain everything to him? Because of the unpleasantness that night, Rupert and I fell into a Cold War for the next 3 days. Or rather, he single-handedly initiated the Cold War. I tried multiple times to communicate with him, but he coldly rejected me each time. The way he slammed the door and left had quite the domineering aura. With no other options, I went directly to the restaurant. In the private room, I was looking over the recent accounts. Suddenly, the door was pushed open. There were chattering and laughing noises, and the sound of disordered footsteps. They all stopped when they saw me. The girl leading the group wore a bodycon skirt with a semi-transparent satin shirt over it. She looked displeased. "Hey, did you come to the wrong place? This private room was specially reserved for me by my boyfriend." "It's not for just anyone." "Your boyfriend? Rupert Houghton? How do you know?" I smiled and called Rupert. He picked up rather quickly. But once he did, he didn't say anything. So I spoke, "Your girlfriend is here. Do you want to come over and meet us?" Without waiting for his reply, I hung up the phone. The girl's displeasure turned into scrutiny and assessment. "Are you Rupert's sister?" Sort of. What do you mean by sort of? Either you are or you aren't. You're not one of those kind sisters, are you? What kind? Let me tell you, Rupert is my boyfriend. Don't try to seduce him. Aren't you a bit too old for that? Oh my goodness, why are you here? The restaurant owner, Rupert's childhood friend, James, hurried over, his forehead covered in sweat. Georgia, don't listen to her nonsense. She's the one pestering Rupert. Rupert hasn't paid any attention to her. Embarrassed, the girl became furious. What nonsense! Last time he even kissed me and said he liked me. James's face turned green. Shut up and come with me. I'm not going. This kind of entanglement was quite unsightly, and some customers had already started gossiping. So I stood up. I said to the girl, I'm not Rupert's sister. I'm his wife, though we are in the process of getting a divorce. If you want to be his girlfriend, don't worry, just wait a few more days and it will be official. The girl's face turned red with embarrassment. Ignoring the curious looks from her friends, she turned and ran out. When Rupert arrived, James, who was sitting next to me, visibly sighed in relief. You talk to Georgia. I'll go to the kitchen and prepare a few dishes. Wait! I called out to him, let's talk together. Huh? Ignoring James's pleading look, Rupert walked towards me with a serious expression. She's just someone I met at a bar. We exchanged contacts and had 2 meals together. She wants to claim to be my girlfriend, but that's not something I can control. There's nothing between us. Exactly, I can vouch for that. I was there every time. Enough about that. I interrupted them. Here's the thing, I'm planning to withdraw my investment. Do you want to buy back my share, or should I sell it to someone else? You have 24 hours to decide. When James first opened the restaurant, he didn't have enough funds. He asked Rupert for help. Rupert didn't have much to offer either. So he asked me for help. At that time, I happened to have some idle funds, so I invested. After hearing my words, Rupert let out a cold laugh. You're withdrawing your investment just because of a little girl? Don't you think that's too capricious? I gave him a glance and stood up. 24 hours. If you don't want it, I'll find someone else to take over. Georgia, don't be like this. Let's talk it over. Tell her to leave. Shut up. James growled, talk to Georgia properly. Don't joke about business matters. But Rupert's face was full of cold indifference. Let her withdraw. We'll buy it back ourselves. Where will we get that much money? The funding chain will break. I'll handle it. Rupert! I couldn't hear what they said next. When the door to the private room closed with a bang, it sounded like something had fallen over. I paused for just 2 seconds, then turned and left. Rupert came home surprisingly early today. It was just 6 o'clock when the door unlocked. Georgia, we need to talk. His low voice abruptly stopped, his gaze fixed on the sofa. Oliver was sitting there, blinking innocently. Sis, why is this man looking at me like that? He won't be mad that I'm here, will he? I rolled my eyes. Such a low-level act, yet he played it so effortlessly. Get out! Rupert barked. Oliver shivered and hid behind me. Sis, I'm scared. Shut up and get out of the way. Rupert shot forward like an arrow, grabbed Oliver by the collar, and raised his hand to punch him in the face. My heart skipped a beat, and I grabbed Rupert's arm. What are you doing? Rupert shook me off. He must have used all his strength because I staggered backward and fell to the ground. Are you okay, sis? Oliver's eyes widened as he swiftly pushed Rupert away with a counter move. He quickly came over and helped me up. Rupert was shaking with anger. Let go of her. Rupert Hawden, that's enough. I raised my head and looked at him coldly. How old are you? How old is he? Stop acting like a child. Rupert looked back at me as if he was seeing me for the first time today. Suddenly, he laughed. A snort. He turned and walked out. The day after tomorrow, see you at the Civil Affairs Bureau. Sis, are you getting a divorce? I let out a deep breath and gave Oliver a flick on the forehead. Behave yourself and stop stirring things up. Running into Oliver today was an accident. After leaving the company, just downstairs, I saw him being dragged towards a sports car by two punks with red-dyed hair. That car, worth as much as my apartment. So I walked over and slapped him hard. Weren't you out to buy soy sauce? Why haven't you gone home? Are you trying to run off and mess around again? Come with me now. I don't know if my stance scared them. The two punks stood there, dumbfounded, letting me take Oliver away. Stay put, there's ice cream in the fridge. If you want some, get it yourself. I'll take you back to school once I find what I'm looking for. After a bit of fuss, Oliver became obedient. He didn't cause any more trouble until I dropped him off at the school gate. Before leaving, he held onto the car door. Sis, my name is Oliver Hather, don't forget. I nodded and waved at him. Hurry up and go. Rupert didn't come back recently. I sent him a message asking when he would move out, but he didn't reply. In the middle of the night, I was woken up by the ringing of my phone. It was James. Georgia, Rupert is drunk. I'll send you the address, come and pick him up. Woken up from a deep sleep, I was a bit annoyed. You guys handle it yourselves, I'm not going. Georgia, you should come. You know his personality, no one can handle him but you. I paused for a few seconds and laughed. Rupert, I know you're listening. I used to fall for this, not because I was easily fooled, but because I was willing to go along. Now, this trick won't work. I hung up the phone, wide awake. Rupert was a great lover, passionate and intense. But he also had fatal flaws, being proud and unwilling to bow his head. In these 8 years, we had many conflicts. Every time we argued, he would get drunk and have his friends call me to pick him up. And every time, I would go. As if I didn't know it was deliberate. Back then, I saw it as a tacit understanding between lovers. Now, it's no longer the same. Rupert came to move out the next afternoon. Before coming, he called me to ask if I was home. I said I was. He then hung up. Half an hour later, he came with the moving company. Dressed in casual clothes, with his hair fluffed up, looking like a college student not yet stepping into society. He leaned against the door, hands in pockets, slumped, looking very despondent. I stepped aside to let him in, then went to the study. Nearly 2 hours later, he knocked on the door, his voice hoarse, I'm leaving. I responded with a but didn't open the door. Half a minute later, I heard the door close. When I came out and looked around, it was hard to tell anything was missing. But if I looked closely, I could see some scattered empty spots. This feeling was quite subtle. My heart would tighten for a moment, then a long sense of relief and ease would follow. The day to get the certificate came in a flash. Rupert arrived earlier than I did, wearing sunglasses, dressed in black, with an air of stay away. The whole process of getting the divorce certificate went particularly smoothly. Coming out of the Civil Affairs Bureau, Rupert said, "Let's have a meal together, just consider it a breakup meal." I glanced at the time. No need for a breakup meal, let's go to a restaurant and discuss my withdrawal of investment. Are you really going to withdraw? Of course. You don't have to do this, personal feelings shouldn't affect work, there's no need to act on impulse. You think I'm acting on impulse? Rupert looked at me as if to say, isn't that so? I shook my head. I told you, I don't do things out of spite. I'm withdrawing my investment because I have other uses for my funds. Georgia. All right, just tell me if you're going to take over or if I should sell it off. Rupert stared at me for a moment, then finally sighed deeply. I'll take over. Good. I took out the contract I'd prepared from the car. Sign it, 15 business days to transfer the money to me. My readiness stunned Rupert once again. His initial calmness cracked inch by inch, his face darkening. But this time, he said nothing, picked up the pen, and swiftly signed his name. I put away the contract. You should take a look, what if I set a trap for you? You wouldn't. I wouldn't before, but now it's uncertain. I looked serious. Rupert's certainty slowly faded, his whole body tensed up. You. I burst out laughing. Just kidding, not this time. But in the future, who knows? The smooth divorce process made me feel particularly happy. When I got home, I saw Oliver Hather at the elevator. He was holding flowers in one hand and a cake in the other, smiling so widely his eyes were barely visible. Georgia, happy divorce. I glared at him. Show some respect. Call me sister. He raised his chin arrogantly. From now on, I won't call you sister anymore. Why? He suddenly moved closer to me. Guess. I extended my index finger and pushed his forehead back. I don't want to guess. Oliver is a typical E-type person. He skillfully entered my house, found a vase, and arranged the vibrant roses one by one on the dining table. Then he opened the cake box and lit a candle. Georgia, quick, blow out the candle. Helplessly, I was dragged to the table by him and blew out the candle under his expectant gaze. The next second, he smeared a bit of cream on my face. Georgia, happy divorce. This was the second time he said this. He seemed genuinely happy. He asked me, what did you wish for? I casually replied, for the investment in Golden Glory Club to succeed. You're going to invest in Golden Glory Club? Yes. So you went to Golden Glory Club before for an inspection? Yes. Then what about later? Was it for me? I looked at him helplessly. What do you think? He smiled even more happily. Georgia, I think your wish will definitely come true. Hopefully. Oliver pulled me to eat half the cake, and after much persuasion, I finally sent him away. Closing the door, I breathed a sigh of relief. The cake wasn't too sweet, but it was still a bit too much for me. Feeling a little uncomfortable, I took a sachet of stomach-warming powder from the medicine box and drank it. As for the remaining cake, I chose the trash can over the fridge or kitchen. The floral scent was a bit overwhelming, so I moved the flowers to the balcony. With the glass door closed and the air conditioner on, I finally felt comfortable. Rupert's efficiency really surprised me. A week after our divorce, he called me to say the money was ready and asked me to go to the bank with him to handle the transaction. A week, knowing him, gathering this amount of money wouldn't have been easy. But I wasn't interested in how he managed it. When we came out of the bank, it was still early. Rupert said, let's have a meal together. No, I have other things to do. Georgia. Yes? Does it have to be this way? Can't we even be friends after the divorce? Yes. My resolute answer left Rupert momentarily stunned. Do you hate me that much? Rupert, you've always said that I don't fit in with you and your friends, and you're right. I really don't. Whether it's you all gathering to drink whenever something happens or living a life of indulgence, it all seems pretty childish to me. In the past, I could overlook it because of our feelings. Now that those feelings are gone, there's no need for us to force a friendship. In my 20s, there was a period when I too was obsessed with drinking. Whenever I faced a difficult situation or an unsolvable problem, I would think about having a drink. Drowning my sorrows in alcohol. That tipsy feeling could temporarily make me forget my troubles. But as I grew older and looked back, I realized it was all just a way to create unnecessary sorrow. Including Rupert. In the beginning, when we argued, he would run out to drink, get terribly drunk, sometimes vomiting everywhere, sometimes even ending up in the hospital, and I would feel heartbroken and soft-hearted. In the past 2 years, I've grown tired of it. If someone can't even take care of their own body or control their emotions, to me, that's immaturity. So, when James called me again to say Rupert had drunk himself into the hospital and asked me to visit, I stayed silent. Contact his parents. If something really happens at the drinking table, none of you will be free from responsibility. James pleaded with me, Georgia, you two have been together for so many years. Do you really have to be so harsh? Rupert's been in a bad state lately, drinking, staying up late. He doesn't say it, but we can all see he doesn't want this divorce. He may like to have fun, but he's never done anything outrageous. I said nothing more and hung up the phone. I knew Rupert's friends thought I was too harsh. To them, Rupert was a good husband, loving, caring, and younger than me. So what if he liked to have fun? Aren't all men like this? Yes, I was also puzzled. Why does the world have such low standards for men? Georgia, time to eat. Oliver suddenly appeared, carrying a lunchbox. Looking at the exquisite 4 dishes and 1 soup in front of me, I felt a headache coming on. He had been showing up like this for 10 days now. At first, I asked if he made these dishes himself, and he was a bit shy. Now he could say without blushing that he simmered the soup for hours. Didn't I tell you not to come over? Why are you here again? Don't you have enough courses or assignments? Okay, let's not talk about that. Let's eat first. Sigh. Oliver, I think we need to talk. He frowned and covered his ears. I don't want to hear it. Oliver, I'm 10 years older than you. Do you know what that means? Now, when we walk together, people might think I'm your old sister. But in a few years, they'll ask if I'm your mother. Oliver put his hands down and looked at me seriously. I don't care. But I do. Oliver, you're still young. Don't waste your time on me. I won't be with you. My attitude was firm. But Oliver's attitude was equally firm. I won't give up. This gave me a headache. Tapping the table lightly, I thought I should do something. I saw Rupert again at Golden Glory Club. Once again, we met by chance, and Oliver was still with me. But this time, Rupert had no female companion by his side. He had noticeably lost weight, and his aura had become more subdued, no longer as flamboyant as before. I nodded at him, intending to pass by. But he grabbed my wrist. Great, he was here for me. Oliver's face turned cold. Let her go. Rupert chuckled. Mr. Hathor, have you had enough fun? Oliver instinctively looked at me. What nonsense are you talking about? Rupert took a step forward. What? You don't even dare admit your own identity? Can you say you're not the young master of Hathor Real Estate? Oliver's face darkened, and his eyes gleamed with a fierce light, looking quite intimidating. But Rupert, always the fearless one, and with the steadiness that comes with being a few years older, showed no sign of backing down. Georgia, from the moment he claimed to be a male model, he was lying to you. Even the identity he told you is fake. Who knows what he's planning? Georgia, stay away from him and come with me. You bastard, are you looking for death? For the first time, Oliver erupted into such a fierce state, kicking violently at Rupert. Rupert wasn't one to take things lying down either. He let go of me and blocked the kick. Then, he swung his tightly clenched fist at Oliver. The two of them started to tussle. I nudged the stunned waiter next to me. Go call security. I walked out of the club, and the first one to catch up was Oliver. He grabbed me. Sis, let me explain. I didn't mean to deceive you. I just didn't know how to tell you. His eyes were red with anxiety, like a helpless puppy. Rupert was not far away, holding a cigarette, watching coldly. I sighed and ruffled his hair. It's okay. Actually, knowing you haven't suffered from financial hardship makes me happy. Sis. But Oliver, as I said before, we're not suitable for each other. Don't waste your time on me. We can be friends, but there's no chance of us being a couple. Oliver hung his head, every strand of hair telling me he was very sad. All right, go home. Oliver walked away dejectedly. Watching his back, I thought, if someone asked me when was the last time I lied, I would definitely say it was just now. At first, Oliver was just a troubled, irritable kid in my eyes. I helped him out of convenience. When did I start to notice something was off? Probably when Oliver told me his surname was Hathor. I'm not stupid. With that surname, thinking about the Golden Glory Club and the Hathor family's connection, and Oliver's aura that was different from ordinary kids, I had a rough guess. Just like how I anonymously told Rupert that Oliver's surname was Hathor, he could find out everything. But for a young master like Oliver, it's never wrong to form a good relationship with him. Rupert slowly walked out of the shadows. He looked at me, a mix of vulnerability and confusion. You forgave him? Georgia. You can easily forgive him. Why are you so heartless to me? Because I loved you. Rupert was stunned. Sis. I stepped back. Rupert, I used to love you very much and once thought you would be my lifelong partner. So, the things you did hurt me so deeply. Rupert, I wasn't determined to divorce you from the start. I was waiting for you to turn back, but you thought you had me in your grasp and became more excessive. Rupert, the power to hurt me was given by me, so I endured it myself. Now, I'm taking it back. Rupert bent over in pain. I was wrong. I'll change. Let's start over, okay? I stepped back again. I won't make the same mistake twice. I won't. I don't believe you. As I turned to leave, the deep emotion on my face turned to a blank expression. Playing two dramas in one night was exhausting. But life is like a play, you have to act when needed. No matter who it's for, vent when you need to, don't hold it in. But after venting, it's always good to leave some dignity. This is the way adults handle things. Epilogue. Later, Georgia Sawyer successfully acquired shares in Golden Glory Club. Whether Oliver had a hand in it, she didn't know, nor did she care. As long as it made money, who cared? The boss of Golden Glory was a woman, a stunningly beautiful woman with an almost bewitching appearance. It was rumored that she had an affair with the head of the Hather family, who was also Oliver's uncle. Georgia was very curious. At first, it was just curiosity. Later, as they got to know each other better, it turned into gossip. The woman laughed coquettishly while smoking a slim cigarette. No affair, though I did want one, but he didn't agree. By the way, our Oliver went abroad to study. Actually, I wouldn't mind if you became my daughter-in-law. Daughter-in-law? Your relationship is. The woman blinked. I'm his stepmother. His father passed away, and now I want to be his little aunt. Georgia clapped her hands in admiration. Georgia's life was very comfortable, with money and leisure, and no one to control her. She could still listen to various young men call her sister. She was physically and mentally happy. After knowing Georgia had become one of the owners of Golden Glory, Rupert visited more frequently. But he only drank, never ordered anyone, nor let anyone get close, maintaining an air of asceticism. Georgia thought, acting now? Too late. But she still greeted him with a smile and sent the largest fruit platter each time. She knew Rupert looked at her both when he arrived and when he left. But she pretended not to know. There was no need, she wouldn't engage in any lingering affairs. Later, Rupert came less and less. A woman teased Georgia, looks like your ex-husband has given up. Well, men, they have a short attention span. Whether Rupert had given up, Georgia didn't know. But she knew Rupert's funds were in trouble. His company, and the restaurant he co-owned with James, had their funding cut off. He could only rob Peter to pay Paul, struggling to cope. If you asked Georgia how she knew, she still had some connections. Those friends she met through Rupert. After discovering that Georgia had become better off after leaving Rupert, they gradually became closer to her. Especially some who wanted to get discounts through Georgia. So Rupert became a topic of casual conversation. For example, he started asking people around him for loans. Someone asked Georgia, if Rupert came to you, would you lend him money? Georgia firmly said, no. He wouldn't even give me that chance. I know him well, very proud. Georgia wasn't saying this to the person in front of her, but to the black figure hiding behind the wall outside the door. Only after that figure disappeared did she breathe a sigh of relief. She thought, scared me to death. Don't come to me for a loan, I hate lending money to people the most.